Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. This is the city council meeting for Monday, February 2nd. And your roll call members, please.
Scott Bork,
Here.
Zach Bryan,
Here.
Andrew Karas,
Here.
Bob Clemens,
Here.
Laura Sarman, Joe Sanders,
Here. Laura's on mute.
and Chad Jeffries. Here. All present.
Okay, we do have a full quorum. First on the agenda is the approval of minutes of the previous meetings, the executive and regular meeting held on January 5th.
I move to approve all of those minutes.
To approve the minutes, do we have a second? And a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Tonight, we will have the reading of the agenda. There's no new items to add. And approval of claims and SRF distributions. Clerk Treasurer wants to make the council aware of ill-dated checks. There's no action that needs to be taken, just bring it up. Nothing under old business tonight. Under new, we have 3 agenda items involving different ordinances and 1 involving a proposed amendment to our current ordinance and approve a conflict of interest. So we don't have any public hearings tied into any agenda items tonight. So if you want to talk, or make the council aware during public statement, that would be your time to come up during the public statement part. Okay, so we'll jump into the approval of claims and SRF distributions. Zach?
Thank you, Mayor. I reviewed the claims. They all appear to be normal city business. I reviewed the SRF disbursements as well. Those appear to be normal city business as well. I'll make a motion to approve the claims.
We have a motion to approve the items. Do we have a second?
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Call the roll.
Okay, Scott Bork,
Yes.
Zach Bryan,
Yes.
Andrew Karas.
Yes.
Bob Clemens.
Yes.
Laura Sarman,
yes,
Council President Joe Sanders,
Yes.
Chad Jeffries.
Yes.
All yeses, Mayor.
Thank you. Up next is the accept the 2023 stale dated checks. Okay,
Just wanted to let you know, we have a few listed checks here that have been offered for 2 years of payment. They are all quite minimal. We made every effort to reach out by phone and email, letters, and unable to pay these stale dated checks. So we just wanted permission to write them off. If for some reason one pops up, we can still pay them, but we just want to write them off after 2 years.
okay. Am I correct? There's no formal action needed by the council, just to present these. to
Just
the
be
council
aware.
For their information.
Right.
Council have any questions of Dave on what he's presenting? Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, nothing under presentations. Up next is the petitions, remonstrance, and public statements. So this is the part of the meeting, if you want to come up to the podium, state your name and address for the council and share any information with the council that you may like. And again, there's no public hearings on any agenda item, so this would be the time.
Good evening.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, Susan McKendry, 128 East Southeast Street, 1202. I have a couple of things I wanted to ask of the council, some requests. When you guys published the agenda items, I was wondering if we could add a little more information in them. It takes quite a lot on a citizen's part to research to even figure out what you guys are talking about in the meetings. And I've been doing this for a year and a half and I'm still, when you put something on the agenda, I have to go dig to find what you're discussing. And for a resident to want to come in and talk about something, they have to spend an extensive amount of time to do that. So for example, like this evening, number 2, ordinance number 2026 -02-04, it just says ordinance granting rezone from R1 to BP, acres of land located on Mississippi Parkway. Nobody has any idea where that acreage is that you're talking about. It just says on Mississippi or Mississippi Street. So, you know, it says 25.30 acres. So somebody would have to go dig. I still don't even know where that is. So if I was a resident in that area, even if I wasn't abutting whatever property you're talking about and received some kind of notice, I would have no idea what you're referring to. So I'm just asking for a little more clarity, a little more detail, so that it's not so hard on the residents to figure out what you're talking about. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, I know you guys are going to discuss or approve uniform conflict of interest disclosure statements. I just want to remind everybody, while there is only a certain amount of information that's required on this disclosure statement under the law, you're still ethically obligated to recuse yourself from events that are occurring within the city that you're related to. I appreciate, Zach Bryan, you've done that in the past, and I know some other members of boards have done so, and I just want to make sure we continue to do that for transparency for the residents. That's it. Thank you.
Good evening, Sam Kazitis, 225 East 113th Avenue. I've got these packets. Can I bring them up to you guys, or
Give them to David.
so this is some of the information that I printed off from the Gateway and the State Board of Accounts. The first one was the debt report for the city of Crown Point, and I was shocked to see that, and this is from 2024. This isn't 25 yet. $102 million. $102 million. I printed off some of the other ones, all the towns and cities surrounding us, just to kind of give a comparison. Now I know there's a lot of variables that go into that, but to kind of give you an idea where we're at, the town of Winfield was 11 million. And then the next one, Cedar Lake, they're 13 million. Cherville, 20,000 or 20 million. And then Dyer is 25 million, 26 million. Highland, 33 million. St. John, 34 million. Town of Maryville, 40 million. And we're at 100 million. And that's not counting on the State Board of Accounts that they advertised, or they list in here as the Downtown Interceptor project that they say is not expected to exceed $18.5 million. Now I know there's $5 million grant that they mentioned in here. And then they mentioned that there's going to be, insurance, the sewage waterworks revenue bonds that's going to come in at 185, or not to exceed 185 million. So that 185 million is not even included on this here on 100. So we're talking possibly $300 million that the city of Crown Point's going to be in debt. I mean, that can somebody help me make sense of where is this money going? You know, I don't see any, I hear infrastructure. So you spend $100 million on infrastructure? I don't see it. There's road projects that have been taking place in Crown Point, but all that gets grant, you know, matching Crossroads grants. There's donations. You've got baseball fields. You got Bulldog Park. All that was built with grants and donations. So where is our $100 million debt? That's what I'd like to know. I mean, this it doesn't make sense. We went from like 2017, we were, you know, 2011 to 2014, we were like 20 million, 25 million. Then we jump up in 2017 to 30 million. 18 jumped to 40 million. 2019 jumped to 46 million. 2020 went to 57 million. 21 went to 58 million. And then 82 million, 103 million, 102 million. So, and I don't want to hear that, oh, we're going to pay down, you know, this coming year, you have to take consideration, we're going to pay down, you know, one of these bonds. Well, you're not going to pay down $100 million over the next year or two. So it's not like that's just going to be wiped out and then we're only going to have to worry about $185 million. So unless I'm missing something here, I would love to know. You know, help us make sense on this. And I think it would be an ideal opportunity for Mr. Sanders, since you're the new president of council, and I've talked to you before about this. Maybe it's time that we put a forensic audit into the city. We've spent money on several other things. I think that would be a wise investment of our tax dollars to spend it on a forensic audit. Thank you, Sam.
Thanks for your time. Okay, anybody else for public safety? All right, we'll go ahead and close that part of the part of the meeting. Just for anybody watching at home, just real quick, appreciate you printing out the gateway. Two of the economic development bonds that are listed, 2019, 2021, the city does not pay back the developer, assumes all that debt. So it's $25 million or so, and that's just looking at it real quick. It's a great resource, public documents. Somebody can jump online and research any and every community. So it's a great resource. Okay, new business ordinance number 2026-02-03, an ordinance granting rezone from R1A residential to BP1 business park zone at 13306 and 13318 Iowa Street. This is just the first reading. Anybody here representing the petitioner? Yep. Evening.
Good evening, Council. Mayor, my name is Jeff Van. I'm with DEG team, 1155 Troutway Road here in Crown Point. Back in quarter 4 of 2025, petitioned the city to have 2 parcels on Iowa Street, totaling about 6.4 acres in the annex. And the fiscal plan was completed, submitted. You reviewed the submitted documents and you unanimously approved the annexation of those 6.4 acres of land. It's 2 individual properties. It was a 1 acre home, and it was also about a 5.4 acre home on Iowa Street. It is surrounded by the 0.65 business park. On the north side is a platted lot 3. On the west side of this property is the Corex frozen food warehouse and distribution center. And on the south side is an outlot, and then is right next to the outlot is Mississippi Parkway that ties into Iowa Street. The proposal and the documents we submitted to you showed that our plan was to eventually rezone the 6.4 acres to Business Park 1 or BP 1, and that is exactly what we're doing. We're executing what we told you we're going to do when you approved it for annexation. The Plan Commission heard it in January, unanimously approved the change of zone from R1A
to BP1, and I ask you do the same this evening as a council at first reading.
Josh, you got a report?
Yes, sir. Mississippi Parkway Partners LLC is requesting a change of zone for the area of 13306 and 13318 Iowa Street in the boundaries of the .65 Business Park. The current zoning of the property is R1A residential, with the proposed change going to BP1 Business Park. Property is surrounded by BP1 to the north, south, and west, and unincorporated residential and agricultural to the east. Property was annexed in the city in 2025 with R1A residential zoning. The proposed change to the property is consistent with the plan for that area and was explained during the annexation process. Petition was heard at the January 26, 2026 Plan Commission meeting, and received a favorable recommendation of 6-0.
Thank you, Josh. We'll bring it to the council then for questions of the petitioner or staff for action. Again, this is just the first reading.
I'll move to read title only for second reading ordinance number 2026-02-03.
Motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
And a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, call the roll, please, Dave.
Okay, Councilmember Rourke,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Curtis,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes.
Sowerman,
yes,
Sanders,
Yes.
and Jeffries.
Yes.
All yeses, Mayor.
Number 2, ordinance number 2026-02-04. It's an ordinance granting rezone from R1 residential to BP1 business park zone for 25.30 acres of land located at Mississippi Parkway. This is also the first reading.
Mayor, again, that's me, and a similar story. Whereas the Iowa Street is on the far east side of the .65 Business Park, this 25.3 acres is on the north side of the .65 Business Park. It also in Q4 was before you, the majority of the property was before you for annexation. The fiscal plan looked at it and did not see any negative impacts to the city. We proposed at that time that this property currently zoned as R1 would be changed at some point into a BP Business Park 1. And that's what we did with the Plan Commission. Again, they heard it in January, unanimously approved it, found that it was consistent with the city's comprehensive plan. This property is about 2,000 feet south of 129th Avenue. 129th Avenue is the first public road south of the new hospital. So we're about 2,200 feet south of the new hospital on Mississippi Parkway.
Josh?
Yeah, I know the same thing as the last one. The major difference in this one, the area was converted to BP1 Business Park back in 2021, but the 2 parcels in question just weren't included at the time. So Mr. Ban is back with the city as a way of cleaning up spot zoning to keep the area consistent. Again, the BP1 Business Park is consistent with the area. It's what the city would like to see in that area. Petition was heard at the January 26, 2026 Plan Commission meeting. We received a favorable recommendation of 6-0.
Thanks, Josh. All right, and we'll bring this into the council as well.
I move to read in title only and hold over for second reading ordinance 2026-02-04.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Okay, Member Rourke,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Curtis,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes.
Sowerman,
yes,
Sanders,
Yes.
and Jeffries.
Yes.
All yeses, Mayor.
Thank you, council. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Number 3, ordinance number 2026-02-05, an ordinance related to petitions for annexation for parcels known as 13209, 13232, and 13420 Delaware Street. This is the first reading. Representing the petitioner.
Good evening, Mayor and fellow councilmen. I apologize about running in here. I was under the impression that our meeting was at 7, so.
Used to be.
Yeah, I apologize about that. Mayor, for the record, and those that may not know me, my name is Todd Clevin. Last name is spelled K-L-E, V as in Victor, E-N. I'm the
Hey,
vice-
Todd.
Yes,
Todd, before you get started, Mr. Mayor, I need to recuse myself from this petition.
Okay. Dave, just make a notation.
Duly noted.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Scott.
Thanks. Sorry, Todd.
no
Oh, all
worries.
good.
Last name is spelled K-L-E, V as in Victor, E-N. Vice President of Land for Lennar Homes. Our offices reside at 1700 East Golf Road, Schaumburg, Illinois. And I am also a Crown Point resident residing at 250 East 123rd Place. Mayor, with your permission, I'd like to approach and pass out some documents that correspond with our petition this evening. I understand there's some technical issues with the PowerPoint, so I don't think we're going to share it on screen, so I'm gonna have to just walk through the slideshow that would have been presented. Is it still a case?
You didn't give that to us at the annexation, did you?
No. Yeah, because I was with PowerPoint.
That should be.
Oh, you think it was?
I used it last week.
Oh, that'd be great. Well, he's setting it up, I'll go ahead and give you the brief overview of the property. So this is parcels located on South Delaware Street, just south of the most recent Altoff community. We have property on both the east side and the west side of Delaware, which the east side resides between Delaware and I-65. And overall, it's about 112 acres. We're in front of you this evening seeking annexation for this property to bring a single-family home community and grow the city limits of Crown Point. We're not proposing any multifamily. We're not proposing duplexes. We're proposing all single-family. The property on the east side, and without getting into the weeds too much, we're just here for annexation, but the property on the east side, we're proposing one single-family product. The property kind of in the middle, we're proposing another single-family product. And which I'm really excited about, the property on the west side consists of 40 acres. For the first time, as a production builder, we're proposing large estate lots. I'm assuming that those homes might surpass $650,000. If you go into the actual presentation material, when I was in front of you on some property that we had under control on Iowa Street, and we were unsuccessful with bringing that one to fruition, we did take your feedback, your direction, looked at our product, and you asked at that time to eliminate some of the smaller homes and eliminate the cottage homes. Not only did we do that, but we also took our landmark series and we're in the process of reskinning those and making them more of a traditional or more of a modern type of single family home, which you typically do not see with a production type builder. And those are the plans that are right here in front of you. And also deeper in the packet. Those are the homes that we're going to propose on the estate lots, as well as the middle lots. And that's all the landmark series. The homes on the eastern side of Delaware are the ones known as the Horizon lineup, and those are found also in the package as well. You have it up and running?
Mary's gonna put it up on that screen.
Okay. We were here for the annexation committee. At that time, we had Jim Weezer, our attorney. He's unable to be here on this evening due to a passing in his family. So our deepest condolences are with and patience are with Mr. Weezer at this time. You want to just keep scrolling. I think everybody's familiar with Lennar and the communities that we have in Northwest Indiana. For those that may not be familiar with it, you can leave right there, please. Back up one. So Lennar is out of 40 different divisions across the country. We reside or we report to the Schaumburg division. And Northwest Indiana is slowly but surely running as an individual division hub at itself. I joined Lennar 5 years ago. At that time, I think we were doing a little over 200 homes in Northwest Indiana. And in 2025, we were just under 700 homes. The property in front of you this evening, as I mentioned, does consist of 112 acres. We are asking for an R3 zoning. If we're successful with getting it annexed in, we'll come back and try to get the R3 zoning. And the reason for that is to eliminate the need for a PUD. The R3 zoning, I am aware that it does allow for much smaller home sites. We would be willing, if we're successful with getting that zoning, to also seek that with a zoning commitment letter indicating that we will not go below 75 feet in width on the home site. So we are bringing you those larger home sites. The R3, reason for the R3 zoning would just be the side yards and other things that correspond to allow our single family product to fit on those home sites. As I mentioned, on the east side of Delaware, we're proposing 75 of those single family Horizon. In the middle of the property, we're proposing 77 of the Landmark series, and those are the ones that look like the more modern type of facade you have in front of you. And as I mentioned, also the estate lots, there will be 21 of those, and those home site widths will be 100 feet in width. We're also proposing 2 parks, walking paths. There's a lot of mature trees out there that we intend to preserve, as well as the wetland. And we're also going to propose wet bottom ponds. So you do not have that dry look. You'll actually have that water within the basin itself that we can put fountains in and just maintain that aesthetics of that high-end living that Crown Point is definitely desiring. Next slide, please. This is the site plan that you also have in your packet. Your north is to the top. Due to the state statute, we are able to annex this in with one take due to everything on the east of I-65 already being annexed into the city of Crown Point. So that gives us we surpass that 8-to-1 ratio, and we're able to grab all this in one taking. Next slide, please. This is the annexation itself. Everything hatched is what we're bringing in. If you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and approach the screen here. The main components of the property that you see is all owned by about 5 individuals. In order to grab that contiguous border, we had to approach the property owner to the north, Mr. Myers, and we have successfully reached a contractual agreement with him to acquire his property. And you can kind of see on the site plan itself, home sites 30 through 37 over to 25, that is the back portion of his property. He is going to retain his actual homestead and just sell us the back half. And I think the next slide will represent that exactly. So the 2 dark green rectangles, those are required in order to be contiguous and bring all of this property into the city limits. However, those dark green rectangles will reside and remain homesteads. So the one on the west side of Delaware, Miss Willie, she is one of the 5 owners of everything that you see in the light blue, but she lives in that dark green rectangle. She agreed to be annexed in, but she is not selling, nor are we tearing down the house, nor developing that. Same thing with the north portion. You can kind of see that red and then that green rectangle. That's Mr. Myers. He's going to go ahead and reside in that house as well, retain ownership, but is willing to be annexed in to the city of Crown Point. Next slide, please. Just go ahead and we're just outlining the Horizon pod. I think the next slide is going to outline the Landmark pod. We're going to jump right into the Horizon. Okay, so we'll get to see what the Horizon consists of. These homes range from 2,000 to 2,600 square feet, 3 to 4 bedroom, 2-car with a 3-car option, with an average sale price of $420,000. The product itself are 40 feet wide, and they will reside on a 75-foot home site. Next slide. And these are those Horizon products. I think the next 2 or 3 will take you through the Horizon. Keep going. Okay. Now that central pod, this is the Landmark pod. Next slide, please. We're proposing 50-foot wide product on 75-foot home sites. These range from 2,100 to 2,900 square feet, all 3 to 4 bedrooms, 2 to 3 car garages, and with an average sale price of $480,000. So that separation is going to be about that $70,000 to $80,000 range between the Horizon and the Landmark. We'll go ahead and flip through the Landmark product. This is our current Landmark product before we started addressing the new modern look. And then we have the new facade that I was just referencing. You can go ahead and scroll through those. As you can see, a much more modern, trendier facade. And then the far western portion, there's a lot of topography change back here. Actually, this grade goes, I think, 80 feet down from the top all the way down to the ravine. We wanted to utilize it best we can, so we decided to, let's go ahead and throw our hat in the ring with the estate large price point homes. And there are 21 of these, and I do believe that these most likely will surpass $650,000 in value. Next slide, please. So with that, that ends my presentation, but I am here to answer any questions. Along with me this evening is Luke Fricky, our entitlements manager. And I don't believe our engineer is here yet, Brad Morris. He also thought the meeting was at 7. So again, I'm sorry for running late. We don't have 50-foot lots.
I saw something up, you said something about a
Yeah,
50-foot
that's
lot.
that's the product, that's the house width itself. So the home is 50 feet. All the lots will be a minimum of 75 feet wide.
Planner, have you got something to say about this? I haven't heard you talk about it, but I know you weren't, if you got anything you want to put in on this?
Well, let's stick with the council first.
Oh.
The council
Well, I
questions to Todd or discussion or anything.
figured, I go by what he says.
Yeah, we'll get to.
Go ahead, Mayor, I haven't got nothing
No.
to say, this I talked to the planner.
Yeah, Joe.
Todd, you propose R3 zoning with zoning commitment letter. But the amendment or the ordinance as written says R1A residential.
So it comes in as R1A,
It'll come
and then our
in,
next step would be to rezone it.
so you're gonna, but the commitment letter will state all that you said here.
I'll even go one step further. I will attach our architecture to that commitment letter, so there's no bait and switch afterwards.
So like that, all right. Last question, the home or the landowner that agrees to annexation. Do we have a record of that? I mean, do we?
That's part of
It is part of the petition and agreed to.
So 100% of his property is being annexed in, and we're only purchasing roughly 75% of it.
So I think it's still agriculture right now. And it's going into the R1A. Is it currently agriculture?
It's, with it being unincorporated, it's a mix of agriculture and residential.
And then it automatically goes R1A and then to, yeah, thank you.
Now, one thing that I didn't mention during the annexation committee that I didn't mention yet, and Luke, I don't know if you have that slide hidden, but in your master plan, even though this is unincorporated Crown Point, unincorporated Lake County, on that east side of Delaware Street, that master plan does show light industrial business there. However, about 80% of that triangular area that's master planned, there we go, right there. I just wanted to be transparent. So the triangle, for lack of better terms, that I'm speaking about is all of this right here. This is all master plan for your comprehensive plan as light industrial and commercial. As you already see it though, Georgia Street is already developed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 homesteads are already existing. So the only undeveloped land that you have is this sliver behind. They're owned by the homesteads along Delaware and the property we have in front of you this evening. I personally don't see that ever being developed as commercial or light industrial, because that would require, first and foremost, everybody along Georgia Street to sell their homes, and then not to mention the people along Delaware Street. We did approach the first 3 homeowners south of us to see if they'd be interested in selling, and because they obviously have that undeveloped land behind them, and it was a hard no from all 3 of them. So we are deviating from your master plan on that side of Delaware and that side of Delaware only. If this project comes to fruition, it does extend a water main an additional 3,000 feet down Delaware Street. It also brings improvements to Delaware Street, and it also brings your sanitary services another 3,000 feet south to the southern part of your municipality. I do understand and have understood the restrictions of sanitary sewer within the city of Crown Point. And with the foresight of how the city's planning on solving it, I support that 100%. The letter that we received from Commonwealth does state that you have capacity for this in your dry flows. We all know that Broadway may have surcharging at time. If the plan comes to fruition that the city of Crown Point has, obviously you'll open up all that and everything will go to the east. As I indicated, I have been following that. I've been listening to the meetings. And more than one person has indicated if the city stops growing, that's when the taxpayers start absorbing that burden. So I think that we are in line with the city's vision with this annexation. And if we are successful with the rezone, we'll be immediately coming in here. I'm sorry, successful with the annexation, we'll be immediately coming here with the rezone and move forward with the entitlements. And probably our anticipation would be to move dirt late this year and go vertical in early 2027 with the homes. Just want to give you a little timeline there.
Return it to the council.
You know, I won't get the cart ahead of the horse, right? Because I know we're just talking about the annexing this in. But for one, I do appreciate after, you know, got a lot of different Lennar products coming in. The fact that you guys are going, okay, we get it. You know, we came in at one point with 60-foot lots. Virgo has said, and now you're going, we're gonna do 75 on this whole thing. So appreciate Lennar and your group and everybody. Even as a different project moves forward, kind of taking that to heart.
Mhm.
I do like also the new facades that you guys are proposing for this. Two questions. One is 75-foot wide lots, and then depth is still gonna stay normal depth.
Do you know what those depths are? Look, 125. Yeah.
Okay.
What does that square footage come out to be? 75 by 125.
And
Probably
then
this
Tom,
one.
what's the elevation of that property in correspondence with I-65? Does it sit quite a bit lower or?
It's actually flat. We looked at that, and I wish Brad was here. We looked at that. And again, I don't want to get in the weeds. We're here for annexation, and obviously
Right.
that'll all come up. But are you referring to some type of a berm?
Well, it's what we always hear there, you know, and sometimes when we look at this and we go, yeah, berm would be great, and then all of a sudden you look at the topography and I-65 is 10 foot higher than what the subdivision was. You know what I mean? So it doesn't.
So it's within feet. It's almost relatively flat. And we have plenty of material on site to build that berm. If you'd like us to build that berm, we might even build it just out of the discretion of our own team. They might want to see that. Sales and marketing might want to see that berm there as well. We do have material, we do have room, and we are also able to meet the buffer that you currently have in your zoning ordinance.
Like I said, I didn't want to get the cart ahead of that. That was more just for my own kind of getting my bearings of the elevation differences. Other than that,
There is a wetland that kind of horseshoes through here. So the berm that you'd be referring to would be right along here. We propose that buffer, but this wetland comes through here. And we could impact that wetland and continue that berm all the way along 65. But the discussions that we preliminarily have had, I kind of want to leave that natural. So you might have a little bit of an opening in C65 so we don't impact that wetland. But again, when we get to that point, if a berm is needed or requested, by all means, it can be done.
And to your point, I like the larger lots too. That was a good move, and I know this community appreciates that. Plus, with the current subdivisions down there, Pine Hill, Schmidt Farms, it's really comparable to those subdivisions of the product here. So I appreciate the larger lot size, taking all that feedback, especially the estate lots too. It's a good setting for it, and I'm sure those current neighborhoods would be appreciative of matching products. I'm sorry, were you gonna say something?
Oh, yeah.
My bad.
Oh, no, you're good.
Go ahead.
So normally when we see annexations come through, there's usually some information on how it's gonna impact cost of service, as to assessed valuation and everything. Is that something we can expect with this annexation request?
Yeah, so FSG did their financial along with Commonwealth. So this is just the first reading. So if the council approves first reading, come back for second reading, then we'll probably have FSG, who was at the annexation committee meeting, FSG come to the council and give that financial report that they compile.
Yeah, and then you'll actually see a resolution on the next council agenda accepting the fiscal plans. Okay. So FSG will report on those fiscal plans and then you can take action on the resolution. Okay. So you'll approve the resolution, or you'll take action on the resolution prior to the final action on the annexation.
Gotcha. Thank you.
in an annexation, we got a wastewater report, a water report, fiscal, you know, it's all there.
The report is complete. It was read during the annexation committee meeting, and I don't want to be verbatim, but I do believe it was not a deficit. It did come in as a surplus, plus from taking all the building permits. We have some extra funding coming in. All the property will be owned and maintained by an HOA. That burden will not be placed upon the city. Maintenance of the ponds and everything.
So,
Ready to talk. For me,
Of course,
well, Mayor, I've said here a long time. I know you've got a good product, and I agree, Mayor, what you're saying there. Chad, you said, Mr. Sanders. But you know what? I hear what the heartbeat of Crown Point is. I am out there every day. And people ask me about houses. We got 35,000 people here?
residents, yeah,
35,000.
correct population.
I remember the time that I could ride my bicycle around here. Everybody loved Crown Point. But when we bring all of these houses, all of these people from different parts of states in the country, Crown Point seems to me is kind of slipping away on me. It's not the Crown Point that I was around, or Mary, you grew up in. And they say, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Well, we got to do it for the physical cost of everything. Progress goes on, we know that. And we can't stop it, and I can't. But I know the people in our community keep asking, why are we building more houses? Well, we do that for tax bases and everything else, and I know that. But I see the little city on the hill is slipping away from the people that's lived here forever. And I guess it's good, but every day it comes up, every day. I would like to see a moratorium, but that'll never happen. It'll never happen, Mayor. And there's a lot of things, but everybody wants to come here, and I know that. We made it the apple on the hill. And I'm glad they're coming, and we got some good people here. But we got a lot of people here that can't afford to live in the city too much. They're telling me all the time, and we're doing everything at the council and the mayor's level to make it affordable so our people can live here. And that's what we still want to do. So we've got our work cut out for us, Your Honor.
Also,
And I know how you feel on this, but I'm just telling you about the people here. And I can get sad myself, but I'll stay here as long as I can to make it happen in good faith. Thank you, Mayor.
Bob, it happens all the time. The people that are already here don't want any more people coming in. It's a tough one, right?
You're right, Joe.
So
You're right. I hear it all the
they
time.
didn't say anything when they were moving.
But we're gonna do the best what we got to work with, and with the wisdom of this council. I hope we can make it fit the puzzle that we're getting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clemens.
okay, unless there's additional comments, what would be the council's pleasure then on this agenda? Well,
Well, I moved to read in title
Yes.
and all over for second reading. I was at the annexation committee meeting. I mean, you presented, these are the kind of lots and building sizes, we want to see, and the development is already encroached. The residential is already there. You're just connecting to it. I back and say it again.
yeah, I could make your.
I move to accept ordinance 2026-02-05. First reading.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, call the roll, please, David.
Okay, Zach Bryan,
Yes.
Andrew Curris.
Yes.
Bob Clemens.
Yes.
Laura Sarman,
yes,
Joe Sanders,
Yes.
and Chad Jeffries.
Yes.
And just to clarify, that was Joe that made the motion.
That's correct. Joe and
Andrew,
Andrew second.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Todd. Okay, number 4, ordinance number 2026-02-06, an ordinance adopting an amendment to chapter 150 of the Code of Ordinances. This is just the first reading. Joe, want me to roast you?
Yeah, you want me to throw out there? All right, so, I won't get into, I had a long speech too. I'm not gonna read that to you. I'll make you suffer. But essentially, what I was looking for was, to change the table for vehicle fueling stations to fall under special use permitting in B3. It is already that in B1 and B2. And after doing a lot of due diligence and working the weekend, I thought I'd have weekends off, but I had to work the weekend. And I learned a lot, according to the law, to comply with a move like this, an amendment for this chapter, if proposed by the city council or any other entity, has to go in front of the plan commission. I would like it to, I'd like to pass that today and put it in front of the plan commission. And they do their research and come back with a recommendation to the council, if possible. So I feel it's the right thing to do. I feel that gas stations and certain entities and certain commitments should be, we as a council and as city representatives, elected officials should have the ability to have some oversight, have a little bit of control over some of these. I mean, you know, gas stations are necessary in our lives. But you have to face the reality too. We dig holes, we put these giant mega gallon tanks in the ground, and they could be there for 40 or 50 years. I think we have every right to have some say in how these things are built and you know, how they comply with our wishes. So the only way we can do that is with a strong special usage permitting to be able to help that. I am not against the advancement. I'm not against development. I don't in any way, shape, or form want a moratorium on some of this. The market is going to drive these things, and we'll watch it. You know, nobody in Crown Point wakes up in the morning wondering where they're going to go get gas. We have gas stations that is available, but they do offer you know, incredibly important service for us. There are convenience stores now as well. Some of the ones that are coming in the future are extremely well designed and clean and a necessary part of our development. However, I think the future too, we don't know what's going to happen with fuels. You know, will we be faced with electric stations, things like that? And I think the ordinances need to be cleaned up. Okay, having said all that, I would like to propose passing ordinance 2026-2-6, first reading, hold over with the condition that it goes to the plan commission and we deal with it from there. I guess at this point, should I enter into, we did have a citizen, a business owner that sent a statement our way that wanted to be in the public record. It is sent via email. Mr. Benson, you have that?
I did see it, yeah.
Yeah, is that acceptable? I mean, it was addressed to Mr. Jeffrey. Should we get it changed?
No, that's fine. Place it in the.
Place it in the public record?
Record.
All right, we'll do.
All right.
So the proposed amendment to 150 involves, it's all one B3, right? Just wanna make- And it just involves whether.
B3 is now P,
B3.
right to permit to
Right,
be amended to be special.
section
special
150 involving the B3, whether it's a special use, okay.
I think just to piggyback on what Joe is talking about, we have some unclear language in this section as far as B3, right? It's almost conflicting language on what's permitted and what's special use. So the thought process is that we need to go back and amend this ordinance to clean that language up so that not only is it easier for petitioners, right, to figure out what is going to be permitted as special use, but also for us to figure out how it is we go about, you know, in the planning department, you know, letting the petitioners know what it is that they're going to have to bring forward, right? Is it something that, because it's really, they're very similar in language and can be read to be looked at either way. So I think it's just a matter of us needing to clean that language up on the part of the city, and it's been there. I think it's been there for a long time, and it's one of those that, you know, gets missed when you do these rewrites. It's, you know, like rewrite War and Peace.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's just incumbent on us that we need to go in there and clean that up and make it, so everybody is on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, well, our ordinance book is 1,000 pages, so, and you guys do a great job of periodically updating or amending our current ordinances as needed as the city changes, so.
What, I won as well, P3 and I won. Specifically for the fueling.
Yeah, so I
stations.
guess it'd be further discussion at the committee meeting level, the planning commission level, and eventually it'll come back to the council.
Right.
If we can just make the
Yes.
clarification.
So-
Sorry, Laura.
No, you go ahead.
The current ordinance calls for special use of B2 with the permitted use in B3 and I1.
Correct.
And HS1.
HS1. What we're looking for is a special use B2, B3, I1, and remaining in permitted use in HS1.
Correct.
That's the proposal.
Correct.
Just want to make sure that was clear.
Yes.
Okay, so if we're not there yet, I know, but when it gets to a motion, that would be the totality of the motion.
Correct.
Okay.
So I
Councilor
thought Joe made a motion. Didn't Joe make a motion to read it only?
Not yet, but
Probably incomplete.
The motion was not.
Right.
yeah, I just want to make sure there's council had enough opportunity to offer any thoughts.
Okay.
Laura's comment. Okay,
I'll chime in on this.
I think Bob's gonna make a comment.
I certainly am. First of all, this is the first I've heard of it, Joe. I'm surprised you didn't call. Have you talked to our council about this? Every
did,
one of us?
yeah.
How come I didn't get talked? Nobody talked to me. How about you? Did you?
I was prepared to make a motion. So that we
Now,
could
wait
have
a
something
minute.
to
The
discuss.
question I asked you, did he call you?
I had a.
You did. Okay. Well, I'll tell you right now, I can't support this. I'm with Chad Jeffries. There's too much language to clean up, and I think we should really work at this and talk about it. Now, if you guys want to go with it, I'm not gonna support it tonight, but I
We're not-
will support it when it's got the right language and everything else with it.
Yeah, I think
That's what we're trying to do.
I think the only action what the council would do tonight is just do the first reading. And then it would still be discussed at the ordinance committee meeting stage, has to go to the planning commission for discussion. Set point, it gets back before you guys in the council, and then you can do a final, either amend it, make the amendment, or not. So this is just the first reading to keep the discussion and ball rolling,
Well, that could be a safety net, yeah. I can agree there on that.
because it does have to go, I mean, it does have to go to the planning commission, but also going to the committee meeting just for further
Yes, sir.
discussion is a good idea.
Well, we got some safeguards.
And the ordinances are clear, Bob, on the way this should travel, so.
Zach, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so what is the, I guess, the ultimate implication here with changing fueling service to special use in B3 and I1 from permitted? What exactly, like if the petitioner was coming in wanting to put a fueling station, what do they have to follow now? What are the implications of that? That's something I'd like to just get clarity on. And then the second part is I'd like to do the planning administrator's opinion on this too. Since it's ultimately impacting something that they have. to work on. I don't know.
So your first part is based on what is on the books now and the ordinance as is, petitioner comes in.
Yeah,
What are they?
what are the high level changes? So petitioner, if it's going from permitted use to special use, what does the petitioner have to comply with regards to special use? And then, I guess Josh's recommendation as the head of department. You know, I'd like to hear his opinion on this.
Zach, there are statutory requirements that need to be met to get a special use to the BCA. Okay, there's certain things to show that it's not injurious to the public, that it doesn't damage property values, that in fact, there's a hardship there, you know, requiring that, you know, it should be in the area, but the main thing is to show it's not injurious to the public.
Okay.
And that's what's discussed and determined, you know, at the special use hearing.
So that's more like in relation to what we normally see about, like, is it part of the comprehensive plan, things like that. For like a fueling station, would that take into account any environmental implications also, since there are obviously some?
It does, because if you're trying to plant that in the middle of 4 residential subdivisions or
Okay.
something right in the middle, yes, that comes into it. You know, it depends on the evidence that's presented as to whether it can be, you know, injurious and hurt property values as well.
Okay.
The lighting is usually a big thing with gas stations because it's so bright and you're putting it in the middle of the residential area. That's an issue that they would, you know, look at.
Hours of service.
Yes, absolutely, things like that.
Thank you.
So Josh, based on the current ordinances and past practice with the planning commission, what you see on your end, do you have any information to Zach's point?
Pat actually did a great job. If it was going through a special use approval, they have to prove the approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, general welfare of the community. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the special use will not be affected in substantially adverse matter. Need for the special use arises from some condition peculiar to the property. Strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will constitute an unnecessary hardship applied to the property for which the special use is sought. The approval does not interfere substantially with the comprehensive plan, which is kind of what you asked. From a planning perspective, if you submit for site development for a commercial product, I've got a list of 14 items required by ordinance. Those are really all I can kind of hold their feet to the fire with, are those 14 items. A gas station, for example, should probably have an environmental impact study. Fortunately, that's not one of the items. So while I can request it, if they determine that they don't see fit to do so, I can't really hold them to it. So what this does is, and actually Bob used the phrase, I think very well, it's a safety net. Having a special use gives us more oversight. It gives us more ability to review, look at the lighting, the hours of operation, especially with the location that's proposed. If one were to go on North Main Street next to the residences that are right behind like Lincoln Carryout, for example, right now I have nothing to stop that from being a 24-hour gas station lighting up a neighborhood. So having the ability to say what are the materials being used on the building, what are your hours of operation, make sure all lighting faces this way, means it has to follow these guidelines for the special use. And if at some point it doesn't follow that, the city, I believe, actually even has the ability to drag it back in front of city council for an explanation and to take further action if need be. So it is a safety net on our part. I know it's an extra step in a process, but those who are determined and want to move forward with this tend to understand that process. And I genuinely, this council sees every special use we get, and I think the only time we've ever said no to one, it was a multi-tenant rental that there were a bunch of issues with parking and permits and all of that. But otherwise, I don't think we've really denied many special uses over the years.
I think especially the stations that have come into more recent years, like Joe said, they're not the stations of old. Have done a good job. They look nice. They're clean. They follow our multi-step process and ordinance. So overall, they've done great. Yeah.
Yeah, the one issue that I would like to caution the council with is one that Josh made, is that where the BZA struggles is with the hardship. And so you have to show this hardship. You have potentially areas that are currently zoned B3 that may be perfect locations for a gas station that may get stifled now because there's really no hardship. Your comprehensive plan showed it. They've prepared that for years, indicating that I think I'm going to put a hardship, or I'm going to put a gas station here. And now you've put a hurdle that they may not be able to cross because there's really no hardship. The hardship was only created by the city council making
Right.
a change to the zoning ordinance. So just be conscious that that's out there and should be considered before passage of this ordinance.
When in discussion at the next series of meetings.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, appreciate the feedback. Can I add another thing too, just quickly? I did, on your advice and Mr. Schluter's advice, I contacted the consultant, Maura.
Oh, good, okay.
Yeah, Maura Rigoni of Robinson. She was the original consultant on it. She was very insightful, 8 years on the Plan Commission in Frankfurt, Illinois. Very insightful, very knowledgeable in this. She said originally that from her notes that it wasn't a front burner issue at the time. I believe she said 2017 when she did come and advise. That I guess the discussions were more about swimming pools and fences than there even were about fueling stations and gas stations. And she did make it clear too that, you know, the BZA can't just say, we've got enough of these in the city, we can't do any more. That you have to be very careful as to how you approach this, you know, and I just presented to her that my concern was a little more oversight and a little more control of our destiny with some of these, as Josh pointed out as well. And she agreed with that wholeheartedly and said that, you know, that she didn't see it being an issue. She didn't know about the ordinances and how we were set up, but I feel as long as we comply with the ordinances and move forward with something like this through the proper channels, the way it's written, and we go from there.
Thanks, Joe. Okay, unless there's further discussion, so what would be the council's pleasure then on this first reading on this agenda?
Can I restate it?
Laura?
I'm happy to make a motion to read in title only, and hold over for second reading. Amendment to chapter 150 of ordinance number 2026-0206.
Or would you please include in that motion, it's subject to second reading after submission to the plan?
And recommendation, right?
Yes, yes, I would amend my motion to include recommendation, considering recommendation from the Plan Commission and Ordinance Committee.
All right, thank you, Laura. So we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
And a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, call the roll, please, Dave.
Okay, Scott Ward,
Yes.
Zach Bryan,
Yes.
Andrew Karas.
Yes.
Bob Clemens,
According to the law, yes.
Laura Sarman,
Yes,
Joe Sanders.
Yes.
And Chad Jeffries.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Council, up next is the approval of conflict of interest forms, which we have one tonight, correct, Sherry?
Yes.
One, okay.
I move to accept the conflict of interest form that has been presented.
Second.
A motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? If not, call the roll, please.
Okay, Scott Ward,
Yes.
Zach Bryan,
Yes.
Andrew Karas.
Yes.
Bob Clemens,
Yes.
Laura Sarman,
yes,
Joe Sanders.
Yes.
And Chad Jeffries.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Get that recorded now.
Our next regular council meeting will be Monday, March 2nd at 6 p.m. To adjourn. A motion, we have a second. And a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?